Welcome back, everybody. Laura here. Alright, so another nifty thing about bombs is you can save the weapons that you have in your inventory and just use bombs to kill these things. One bomb will pop the head off the body, and the second bomb will kill the head. Just be careful not to take too long, otherwise they'll kind of put themselves back together and stick their heads back on their bodies. So you have to be relatively quick if you use that method. Another little safety tip, make sure not to blow yourself up with your own bomb in the process. Alright, so there are some more free monster parts here to be had. Just be aware that one will turn itself on right in the middle. Just remember they have to have line of sight, so just make sure you get to cover quickly as possible, and you'll be just fine. Now, it seems like ever since I completed Master Mode, these things seem to pop up a lot more often than they used to. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, or maybe it's just all in my mind. All I know is it's annoying. Master Mode, it's kind of annoying more than it is fun, I would say. Yeah, it is challenging, but my biggest complaint about Master Mode is the enemies replenish their own life, their own health. So say you're dealing with, I don't know, 5 enemies at the same time, and you shoot them all with an ice arrow. While you're working on killing one, the other 4 will be replenishing their lives. It's not fair. And I don't like to play. Alright. Off my soapbox. Got another treasure chest. I mentioned in my last video you can actually use bombs to help you go fishing. Allow me to demonstrate. Boomskis. So now you don't have to waste bow and arrow ammunition just to go fishing. You can just lob bombs out into the water and collect your goods. Alright, so before we actually go to our next shrine, we have some work to do. We're going to go over here to this skull. There's a treasure chest there and some bad guys and some weaponry we're going to collect. Then we're going to head back over to this lake. I mentioned earlier on there's some goodies in the lake. There's a Koroks seed there, there's a false wall to blow up over here somewhere. Some more fishing to be done, so let's get to work. The reason I like to kind of take this route is because the more time you spend here getting this stuff, the better off you'll be getting to the rainforest. You'll have plenty of heart replenishment, plenty of arrow ammunition, just materials in general. You kind of need all this stuff, so Koroks seeds, especially Koroks seeds. You jerk, you turned around on me. Lots of Koroks seeds, which I mentioned, that's how you increase your inventory, which is going to be key. Alright, so as I said before, don't worry about these reds too much. They don't hurt that bad. They're just more annoying than anything. But there's going to be a blue in here. Now, the blues are no joke. One direct hit from a blue could be the end of you. So, good habit to be in. Always save your game before getting into any big bar brawl like we're about to do here. And I'm going to show you guys how to sneak strike. Word of caution. Make sure you don't accidentally sneak strike a bomb barrel or that will be the end of you. Just kind of creep around nice and slow, just like you were collecting an insect. The hardest part about sneak striking is getting yourself positioned so that your icon says sneak strike and not take. So you can't be close to any other items or objects, or Link will just want to pick up whatever item or object is laying around and not want to sneak strike. Alright, so if you're here at nighttime, take advantage of them being asleep and do your sneak striking. If you're here during the daytime and you're a first time player, you're probably going to die a few times. Just stay with it, you know. Try different approaches, different techniques. Sooner or later something will click. One thing on that note is if you're using a one-handed weapon, the enemy will be hitting back, especially the blues. So your one-handed weapon is your, traveler's sword, or your soldier's broadsword, which of course, if you're going to use a one-handed weapon here, that's what I recommend, because that's doing the most damage out there. Two-handed weapons, however, that will stun the enemy every swing, so he will not have a chance to hit back. The only trade-off is Link doesn't get to use his shield that way. But you really don't need the shield because, like I said, every time you smack them with that two-handed weapon, they will be stunned and they will not be attacking you back. So just a little tip there. Do whatever fighting style works for you. Try different approaches. You're going to die. Just understand it's going to happen. But don't worry about it as long as you remember to save your game. You will not have lost anything. Maybe a little bit of sanity. Other than that, you'll be fine. Okay, so we are now heading back to that lake. We're going to grab those couple of Koroks seeds. Actually, there's just one Korok seed there. But there's, I think, a rusty broadsword or something. I don't recommend the rusty weapons in this game because they're very, very brittle. You might kill an enemy, if you're lucky, with a rusty weapon. So all in all, it's just kind of a waste of inventory space to be carrying around rusty stuff. Now, of course, something is better than nothing, so if you've got a bunch of empty inventory, by all means, go ahead and grab the rusty stuff. But other than that, I don't recommend it. Always take the time to collect all your monster parts. Like I said before, even if you already have 100 of it, keep collecting it. Later on in the game, you're going to be selling those monster parts for monster money to buy some pretty cool monster gear later in the game. Not only that, you can actually sell them for just normal rupees if you need the extra cash flow. So just always take the time to collect all the stuff that the game gives you to collect. Alright, so we have arrived back at our lake. Anytime you see a ring of lily pads in a lake like that, or any water really, just go ahead and jump on into the middle, and you will have a Korok seed coming out for you. Crap. Sometimes it's kind of hard to go fishing with the bombs just because they have to be relatively close to the bomb in order to get killed by it. It's an art. Well, that one is just going to be a nuisance, isn't he? Okay, I'm not going to spend all day doing this. I'm just trying to show you guys the benefits of bomb fishing. Okay, there's a false wall we're going to be blowing up here. That's why I waited to this point to come here, because you need bombs to get to that treasure chest. Oh yeah, I was going to show you guys the drowning technique. Alright, so if you let yourself run out of stamina, just make sure you have more than a heart left, because when you let yourself drown, it's going to cost a heart in doing so. Not a big deal unless, of course, you're down to a heart. Then you will die. But the reason I like to point that out is because when you drown, you end up wherever Link had his feet firmly on dry land last. Sometimes that can be a benefit. Say you're up at the top of a really high climb, and you jump down to do some fishing, and you don't want to have to spend the stamina climbing all the way back to the top. Just simply let yourself drown. Voila, you'll teleport magically back to the top. You don't have to worry about climbing all over again. Like I said, just make sure you're not down to one heart when you do that. Why do I keep laying down pins? I guess I'm getting in a rush here. Not paying attention! Alright, lots of treasure chests on the Great Plateau. Lots of Korok seeds. We're going to have 21 Korok seeds by the time we're done here. Okay, next on the bucket list is going to be this little bad boy nest here. Now I'm going to show you that two-handed weapon versus the one-handed weapon deal. So, one swing, bad guy stuns. and they don't have a chance to hit back. So just a little difference in the two different techniques there. One-handed weapon, yeah, you can use your shield, but keep in mind they'll be hitting back. Two-handed weapon, you get that stun benefit, and you don't have to worry about them hitting back. Alright, so collect whatever there is to collect here. Now that we have some fishing done, I'm going to show you guys how to roast up some fish. We're not going to use that cooking pot just yet. Reason being is we're going to collect some more ingredients before we do any cooking. And there's a cooking pot we're about to come up on here real soon anyway, so don't worry about this one for the time being. Okay, so we already have one roasted bass. As you can see in my inventory, I've got the one. I think that came out of that metal crate over by the Magnesis Shrine. So all you gotta do is just, you can hold up to 5 items at once, but you can throw up to 10 items on the floor at once. If you try to throw more than 10 out there, they'll just start disappearing on you. You can only keep 10 out at once, so bear that in mind so that you're not wasting food. And things roast at different intervals. So say you throw some bass out there and then some mushrooms. The mushrooms are going to cook up real fast. In fact, they're going to cook up and then they're going to burn and disintegrate before your fish are done cooking. So it's always best to cook things over an open fire together rather than trying to do a smorgasbord and cook different items at the same time. Okay, just to show you at the map, on the map what we're doing now. That was the lake we already took care of. Now we're kind of getting into the snow region. And I promised you guys a cooking pot. Now to light fires, I don't recommend trying to use flint. Reason being is that's going to damage your weapons. So use a burner bow. And a fire arrow to light your fires. One cool thing is when you're within range of a fire, you don't have to worry about Link taking damage. He is nice and toasty warm, good to go. Of course, I'm not within range of the fire right now, and I could take some damage, but yeah, I don't care. It's only half a heart. No big deal. Alright, so cooking pot. We're going to throw 5 chili peppers out at once. And I forgot to mention, usually the first time you cook something, you're going to get some kind of a bonus. That probably would have been better served with stamina, but oh well. It's okay. Alright, what's next? We are going to do 1 pepper. Okay, so just to show you guys what we're doing here, 1 pepper got us 2.5 minutes of low level cold protection. 5 chili peppers got us 12.5 minutes. So we're just going to kind of spread some of these out. Maybe I'll do 4 now. This way we can kind of eat what we need for the situation. And then maybe I'll do 2 for 5 minutes. Go ahead and cook that 1 green mushroom up that we collected earlier on. That's what I call a bailout dose. It's not a lot of stamina, just a little bit. Just a small sliver there, about 1/5 of a wheel. But remember that 2.5 minute? Yeah, now's a good time to eat that. So, you know, if you're climbing up a tall cliff and you're almost to the top, but you're almost out of stamina, you can eat that little sliver of stamina and safely make it to the top of your climb. So I like to keep about 3 bailout doses in my inventory at all times. I forgot to mark that on my map. Apologies. There's another axe here. We might as well go ahead and take a moment to tech refresh. For those of you in the IT realm of work, tech refresh is when you get new computers or new hardware, new something. So anytime I come across a fresh weapon, I always take a moment to tech refresh. drop a weapon that I've already been using on, put a nice fresh one in my inventory. It's just a good habit to be in. Always keep your inventory sorted and tech refreshed. Alright folks, moving on. We are going to exit the snow region now. And we are now going to head over toward the old man's house, which is down in this little forest. This little square thing on your map here that's kind of shaded. That is the old man's house. It's like a cabin, I guess. So that's where we're heading next. There's another cooking pot over there. Reason I do some more cooking over there is we're going to be collecting more stamina ingredients. There's going to be quite a bit more green mushrooms and a couple of honey. And honey is also stamina replenishment. Alright, another bad boy nest coming up as well. New type of ingredient are mushrooms. That's for speed. And I'll show you guys a really good, trustworthy elixir formula for speed. Very consistent. I'll be showing you guys tons and tons of different recipes for cooking different superpower ability type meals, and they're all consistent. Unfortunately, some of these guys, they'll be recording and they'll get a really good meal cooked up, but it just happened to be a randomized bonus or something like that. And the bad thing is when you go to try to cook that formula, it doesn't work. You're like, well, why didn't I get high level, or why didn't I get the time they got? Well, the recipes I'm going to teach you guys when the time comes, they will be consistent. Meaning you can cook them anytime, anywhere, and you will get the exact same benefits. Oh, another thing about using a two-handed weapon, if the bad guy has a shield up, it will bat the shield out of his hands. And do try not to get hit if they light their weapons on fire. They do extra damage on you. Alright, so the reason I like to keep an axe or a sledgehammer when the time comes. Great way to open up these wooden crates if there's not a metal one to pick up and smash them with. Okay, so I mentioned green mushrooms and honey. Go ahead and use a bomb to blast down the doors here. Lots of stamina ingredients. I haven't been very good with my treasure chest marking, have I? Okay, this is going to be a spear. This is actually a pretty good weapon. It's quite durable. You'll have that one quite a bit, quite a long time. And I thought there was another mushroom up here somewhere. There it is. I'm colorblind. So sometimes something will be staring me right in the face and I just won't see it. But so there should be 3 mushrooms over there on that cliff wall. There should be another 2 mushrooms over here on this little boulder popping up out of the ground, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we have arrived at the old man's cabin. Take the time to collect all these green mushrooms. Trust me, you're going to need them. Just to show you on the map where we're at now. Oh yeah, if you don't feel like using your axe to break open those barrels, you can just pick them up and throw them into a wall. Just bear in mind that a lot of times they're going to bounce. and get really annoying and fly halfway across Hyrule, and then you'll have to run and go pick them up. So I just usually like to use the axe to open up things like that. Or you can use them to break pots. The Old Man's Diary is a fun read. I recommend it at least once. Always take the time to tech refresh. Okay, so that's pretty much it for mushrooms right around the cabin here. On top of the old man's house is a Koroks seed. I kind of did that fast. As you get close, you'll see some glistening, swirling, floating leaves or whatever. You just kind of walk up to that, spam the A button, and it'll examine, and your Korok will pop out at you. Alright, so there's some more ingredients to be collected. This is important because this is your stamina replenishment. And trust me, you're going to need lots and lots of stamina in this game. Even if you spend your spirit orbs on getting more stamina vessels like I recommend, you're still going to need to cook up tons of stamina. So anytime you come across a mushroom or the fish or the honey, always take a moment to collect that stuff. And always use a bomb when you come across the honey, because there's going to be bees, and they are quite a nuisance. And they will take, you will take damage if the bees come at you. So, yeah, definitely a good idea to use bombs whenever you approach honey. Oh yeah, something else about bombs. One bomb will knock a tree down. Whenever you have a log laying down, always use the other bomb to blow it up. Reason being is you get free well, that one disappeared. Game is glitchy, folks. It's gonna happen. A lot of glitches in this game. Alright, so normally what's supposed to happen is one bomb will knock the tree over, the second bomb will blow the tree up and give you a bundle of wood. You are going to need about 150 bundles of wood in this game, at least. And that's if you don't light a lot of fires while you're out and about in Hyrule. You're going to need 110 for Terrytown, which is a town that you're going to build from the ground up. You're also going to need 30 bundles of wood to buy Link a house. And you might be thinking, well, why does Link need a house? Well, for one, it's cool. For two, you're going to be able to store weapons in your house. Up to 3 bows, 3 shields, and 3 weapons. That's going to come in handy, especially when you start coming across these really amazing weapons and you just run out of inventory. Alright, so we have arrived at the old man. He's over here trying to chop down this tree. Go ahead and do that for him. Once it's down, just go ahead and blow it back up. Get your wood. Talk to the old man. He'll give you a little bit more of a storyline. Also, anytime you come across a fruit tree, take the time to blow that down. The fruit will not get blasted into oblivion. It usually just kind of falls right down below. And you'll be able to pick up the fruit with ease. Alright folks, so I'm going to go ahead and break the video here. We're going to do some cooking when we come back, and then we're going to head to our stasis shrine. And that's quite a climb, so this is why I like to wait till I get to this point, mainly for cooking up some stamina when we come back.